If you're like me, someone who's spent way too much time worried about every little sensation in your body, every strange twitch, ache, or skipped heartbeat, then you know how important it is to feel like you're doing everything you can to stay healthy. It's not about chasing perfection, it's about finding peace. And sometimes that peace comes from something surprisingly simple. For me, one of the most calming and helpful things I ever added to my health routine was magnesium. Magnesium doesn't get the attention that vitamin D or omega-3s do, but it absolutely should. It's involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body. That means it's not just a nice-to-have mineral, it's essential. If you're someone constantly monitoring your heart rate, worrying about muscle cramps, or trying to calm a racing mind, magnesium might be a missing piece of the puzzle. Let me tell you exactly why. Magnesium plays a crucial role in muscle and nerve function, energy production, and regulating our stress response. For those of us with health anxiety, that last one is huge. When we're anxious, especially chronically anxious, our bodies burn through magnesium more quickly. The adrenal glands, which are responsible for producing stress hormones like cortisol, actually require magnesium to function properly. And if we're deficient, those stress responses can become exaggerated. That can make us feel even more jittery, even more prone to spiraling thoughts. It's like anxiety feeds on magnesium deficiency, and vice versa. When I first started supplementing with magnesium, I noticed the difference almost immediately. My muscle twitches started to go away. I used to get them all the time. Little twitches in my arms or eyelids that would send me down a Google rabbit hole. Is it ALS? Is it MS? You name it, I've searched it. But twitching is one of the hallmark signs of low magnesium. Once I started getting enough of it, those stopped happening nearly as often. I also noticed I was sleeping better. Magnesium helps regulate GABA, a neurotransmitter that promotes relaxation and sleep. When your GABA levels are healthy, your brain slows down. You stop ruminating, your heart rate lowers. And if you've ever been up at 3 a.m. convinced you have a brain tumor or a heart problem, you know how powerful that can be. I used to lay awake just waiting for something to go wrong. Now I actually sleep deeply, and when I wake up, I don't immediately start scanning my body for signs of disease. And the heart benefits, that's what really sealed the deal for me. Magnesium plays a key role in maintaining a healthy heart rhythm. In fact, magnesium deficiency has been linked to arrhythmias, palpitations, and even an increased risk of sudden cardiac death. If you're someone who's ever sat there feeling every single heartbeat, convinced the next one might be the last, then this is something you should know. Magnesium helps stabilize electrical signals in the heart. It calms them. It promotes a smooth, regular rhythm. No skipped beats, no racing, just steady, quiet support. There's even evidence that magnesium helps lower blood pressure. Not dramatically, but consistently. If you're always checking your blood pressure, or avoiding checking it because you're afraid of what it might say, this is a gentle, natural way to help regulate it over time. Magnesium helps blood vessels relax, which makes it easier for blood to flow and reduces the strain on the heart. Again, that's the kind of information that helps me feel like I'm taking back some control. And then there's digestion. I don't know about you, but I've had entire weeks derailed by a little bit of constipation. And of course, once that happens, the spiral starts. Why am I bloated? Is this colon cancer? But magnesium helps here too. Magnesium citrate in particular has a mild laxative effect. It draws water into the intestines and helps things move more smoothly. For me, it's become a tool I can rely on when things start to feel off, and that alone provides so much peace of mind. Let's talk about how to actually get magnesium, because that part matters. You can absolutely get it through your diet, and I try to do that as much as I can. The best food sources include dark leafy greens like spinach and Swiss chard, nuts and seeds, especially pumpkin seeds and almonds, legumes like black beans and whole grains. Avocados, bananas, and even dark chocolate are also decent sources. But here's the thing. The soil our food is grown in isn't as magnesium-rich as it used to be. That means even if you're eating well, you might not be getting enough. That's why supplementation is so common and, in many cases, necessary. There are different forms of magnesium, and they're not all created equal. For sleep and anxiety, I personally found magnesium glycinate to be the best. It's highly absorbable and very gentle on the stomach. Magnesium citrate is better if you need help with digestion, like I mentioned earlier. Magnesium threonate is a bit more expensive, but it's the only form that crosses the blood-brain barrier effectively, so it may have more direct cognitive and mood benefits. As for dosage, the recommended dietary allowance, RDA, for magnesium is around 400 to 420 milligrams per day for adult men and 320 milligrams per day for adult women. But if you're supplementing, most experts suggest staying in the 200-400 milligrams per day range, depending on your diet and symptoms. I personally take about 300 milligrams of magnesium glycinate before bed every night, and it's made a huge difference. The timing matters too. Magnesium can make you a little sleepy or relaxed, so I usually take it in the evening. Some people split their dose, half in the morning, half at night, especially if they're dealing with a lot of anxiety throughout the day. You can play around with the timing and see what works for you. It's also important to mention what not to do. Don't take magnesium on an empty stomach if you're prone to nausea. Some forms, like magnesium oxide, can cause digestive upset or loose stools, especially at higher doses. And don't assume more is better. Excess magnesium from food isn't a problem, but overdoing it with supplements can lead to diarrhea, cramping, or even heart issues in extreme cases. Always talk to your doctor, especially if you're on medications for blood pressure or heart rhythm. Magnesium can interact with some of those, but for most people, magnesium is incredibly safe and incredibly helpful. For me, it's a foundation. It's one of those few things I do every day that makes a clear difference. It quiets the nervous system. It relaxes the muscles. It regulates the heartbeat. It promotes sleep. It supports digestion. It even helps balance blood sugar levels, something that's incredibly helpful if you're monitoring your glucose or worried about energy crashes throughout the day. And honestly, it gives me one more reason to feel like I'm doing something good for my body instead of always reacting to it in fear. That's the real goal here. Not just to add another supplement to the routine, but to build a sense of calm and confidence around your health. Because once you've been down the hypochondria road, you know how exhausting it is to constantly feel like something is wrong. Magnesium for me is part of the antidote. So if you haven't looked into it yet, maybe this is your sign. Try it. Track how you feel. Notice the little changes. Maybe your sleep gets better. Maybe your muscles relax. Maybe your mind stops racing just long enough for you to exhale. That's worth everything.